Silver buying for beginners, intro to silver stacking. I want to cover some of these basics. Hi folks, it's Silver Dave at Local Silver Mint in Ware, New Hampshire. And as I had mentioned, we are going to get into silver buying for beginners, intro to silver stacking. And so I want to cover some of these basics and help people who've never bought any silver before, and also help tune up folks that have already been buying silver. And so here we go, we're going to get into this. The first question, and this is the beginning here, is what is spot? What is the spot price? Well, first, the spot price is the market price of silver, which is based on futures commodities sellers on Wall Street who are selling contracts for silver delivery in the future. And so as these very large deals occur, and that different companies and entities are making bids and making offers and purchases on silver contracts, that is what generates the spot price. And so the spot price essentially is the global market price of silver. Now, where can you find the spot price? Well, you can find the spot price in a multitude of different places. One that's very popular is Kitco, and that's K-I-T-C-O, Kitco, kitco.com. So you can go to kitco.com, and hopefully we'll put the link on the screen for you here in the editing. And so Kitco is a very popular place where people like to go and look at the spot price. You can see the spot price of silver, gold, platinum, palladium, rhodium, copper, and many other types of precious or semi-precious metals. Okay, so that's the spot price. Now, the spot price changes throughout the day, almost every day. Basically, during business days and business hours, the spot price is continuously moving. Also, that the spot price is the basis for which almost all sellers use to sell their silver as a baseline number. Please note, the spot price is not the price of finished products made of silver. The spot price is the market price for silver as a raw material. So when you go to buy silver, you should not expect to pay spot price for finished products. The only time you can expect to pay spot price is when you're buying paper contracts for silver, and in rare cases where you might buy in a private party sale where someone is selling and they sell at spot price. But typically you can expect to pay a premium over spot if you want to buy physical silver. Please note, I highly recommend physical silver. If you have watched my videos, you might see that a lot of my videos talk about my concerns with the paper silver markets, and that a lot of the silver market is paper promises for silver, more so, a lot more so than actual silver. So personally, I like to buy physical silver that I can hold, that I can count, that I can weigh, that I can test, that I know exists. So I think that's very important, and I encourage people buy physical silver. Don't buy paper silver, because the paper silver, though you can speculate on the price of silver by doing that, however, if there's a major financial catastrophe, that paper silver you're most likely never going to get, and the company that is supposedly holding it for you may go bankrupt, and so you may really lose out. And that's why I feel very strongly that you get physical silver that you know exists. Also, just an administrative note, this is not financial advice. I am in no way a financial planner or any type of a financial advisor. This is only information that I'm giving, which contains facts, information, and opinions. And with this information, you can do with it what you feel is the best in order to serve your goals. So now that we've talked a little about the spot price and about having physical silver, I want to talk about the different types of investment silver that exist. And so I'll take us over here to our first case. And in our first case, we have silver coins. Note, this is just my display. We have lots more in stock behind in the back of the store. We have lots more than this in stock. If you come in to buy, this is just a display. We got lots and lots of it. Now, coins. So you have coins, you have rounds, and you have bars. Now, coins are different than rounds. And the reason why coins are different than rounds is that coins are made by a government mint. They have a face value in dollars or euro or rand. So things such as American Silver Eagle, Canadian Maple, Royal Britannia, these are all examples of silver coins. Now, silver coins are very beautiful, and there's a lot of money that has gone into the tooling to make these coins. However, you will typically pay a lot more to buy silver coins per ounce than you will to buy silver rounds or bars. And so, once again, coins made by a government mint has a face value of either dollars or euros. Now, rounds, on the other hand, rounds are made by a private mint. And so they do not have a face value in dollars or euro. They sometimes may have a year, but not always. And then the other thing is that rounds, you will typically pay less per ounce to buy silver rounds than you will pay to buy silver coins. Now, which one is better? Well, it depends on who you ask. There are some guys who say they only buy American Silver Eagles because that's what they trust and that's what they like, and they're willing to pay more money to buy them. There are other people that will say, I never buy coins, I only buy rounds, because they want to pay less per ounce and they want to invest more in silver than numismatics or in coin. And so there are those different styles. There's really not a right or a wrong answer. Personally, I stack heavier on rounds and bars than on coins, largely because I'm more concerned about the silver weight than the numismatics of it. Now, one more note is that the American Silver Eagle coin is considered the most popular bullion coin in the world and considered the most recognizable bullion coin in the world. That people all around the world recognize the American Silver Eagle, and it is the most expensive of the coins. Now, at the same time, the American Silver Eagle is also probably the most counterfeited coin of all the coins. So, there's a give and take. Personally, I don't see the American Silver Eagle as necessarily being easier to identify than rounds. If a guy walks into my store to sell silver to me, whether he's selling me eagles or rounds, I just verify that the silver is real, that the item is real, we weigh it, and I will still buy the rounds or the coins. I would not say no to buying silver because it wasn't a silver eagle. Now, people may be different. There may be some people that are different than that. So we talked about coins. We said coins are made by a government mint. We talked about rounds, and rounds are made by a private mint. So now let's talk about bars. Bars are typically made by a private mint, though some of the government mints will also make bars, such as the Royal Canadian Mint 100-ounce bar that we see right here. And so you can buy bars. Now, typically the bars will be bigger. Typically the bars are 10-ounce, kilo, or 100-ounce bars. And usually you will pay slightly less per ounce to buy bars than you will to pay to buy rounds. However, the 1-ounce rounds offer more divisibility than a 10-ounce or a bigger bar. And so that's something that I think is a very good advantage, is that divisibility. so that if you want to sell or trade, you can trade a smaller piece at a time as opposed to one big hunk. So whereas 100-ounce silver bars, we're selling 100-ounce silver bars for 79 cents over spot, versus we have the Buffalo rounds for $1 and change over spot. And then we have the American Silver Eagle coins for about $8 over spot. So you can see there's some differences there. Now, when you buy the 100-ounce bar, that's 79 cents over spot, you're paying the least amount over spot. However, this is a lot harder to sell. It means a guy has to pay around $3,000 just to buy that one thing from you. So it's harder to sell, and often people will come in and they will sell them to me here in the store. But because less people will buy the 100-ounce bars from us and that they're a lot harder to sell, we typically will pay less to buy them off the street than we would pay for 1-ounce rounds or 1-ounce coins. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Now, what's right for you? Should you buy 1 ounce or should you buy 100-ounce? Well, that depends on what your goals are and what your budget is. If your budget is, let's say your budget is $3,000, well, I would not suggest that you spend all of your budget on one big silver bar. I would suggest that you buy smaller pieces so that you have more divisibility. On the other hand, if you have a lot of money to put into this, let's say you're putting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in, then you may want to consider taking a substantial portion in 100-ounce bars, because then you get the most weight for the dollars that you pay. Also, another approach can be a diversification approach, and that's where you take and you get a variety of different items in your stack. I typically would get a bigger portion in 1-ounce rounds and conventional bullion, and then maybe some different coins just to sort of spruce up your collection and to cover other bases, like when you give as a gift or as a tip. If you're going to give a tip to your postman and you want to give him silver, well, if you give him an American Silver Eagle coin, he'll really appreciate that, because he works for the United States Post Office, and that means a lot more, probably going to mean a lot more to him than if you give him a Canadian maple coin, a Royal Britannia British coin, or a silver round or a silver bar. So the Silver Eagle really is a great gift, and it's a nice collector piece. The Canadian maples are really gorgeous, one of the most beautiful coins. They're a lot less money than the American Silver Eagle. Also makes a really great gift, nice to spruce up your collection. But my philosophy has been to focus on conventional silver bullion at a low premium, and to also consider one other component to your silver stack. And so before we talk about the fourth type of investment, silver, just to recap, we talked about coins from a government mint, we talked about rounds from a private mint, and we talked about bars, which come from a private mint and sometimes from a government mint. And the last type of silver that I want to talk about is on the other side of the room, so we're going to have to make our way over. And so the other type of silver is barter silver. And barter silver is the silver that comes in smaller pieces. And the idea here is that this will allow you to do barters and trades and make smaller purchases for basic essential supplies. Now, this is one of the categories that very few silver stackers or silver enthusiasts even think about, talk about, or even know about. And I think it is extremely important. Now, we make 1/10 ounce silver for this very reason, that we wanted to fill a void in the marketplace. Now, if you want to buy a dozen eggs or a basket of vegetables from your neighbor down the street, a 1 ounce or a 10 ounce bar is probably too much to pay for those basic essential supplies, especially if the price of silver goes up a lot. And so having that divisibility, I think, serves you. And whereas with these different products, you'll have different prices and you'll pay different premiums. The downside to 1/10 ounce silver or barter silver is that you're gonna pay typically more per ounce than to buy conventional bullion rounds or bars. However, I would argue that yes, you may pay about 15% more per ounce to buy 1/10 ounce rounds like what we make than say Buffalo rounds, but I would argue that you may save 90% every time you spend it. So I think it's very important to have this. Now, I don't recommend that you buy 100% of your stack in fractional barter silver, unless you're just doing a very small start off, then maybe that is the perfect place to start. But if you're stacking a substantial amount, I might recommend that you get about 70% of your stack in conventional silver bullion and about 30% of your stack in little pieces for barters and trades so that you don't overpay and so that you have the ability to make lots of trades, lots of times, lots of negotiations, and then each time you go to the marketplace, you can pay and you can walk away with things and you'll still have lots of pieces of silver left. And that's the problem with buying one big bar of silver, is that you can only trade it once. And if the financial system is rickety and you need basic supplies, people are not typically gonna have 999 1/10 ounce pieces of silver to give you back for your 100 ounce bar. So that's barter silver. So those were the 4 types of investment silver that I wanted to talk to you about. Now, the next thing that we wanted to talk about was grades of silver. So a lot of silver, a lot of people don't know that silver comes in a variety of different grades. Now, you probably heard 999 silver, and when we talk about bullion coins, bullion bars, or bullion rounds, you'll typically see that these are usually 999 silver. Now, 999 silver means that it's 99.9% silver. Essentially, it's pure silver. Now, you can get grades of silver that are different than that. And so, for example, another grade of silver that you'll commonly see is 925 silver. 925 silver is 92.5% silver. Now, 925 silver is found in some coins, but also is typically found in jewelry and silver forks and spoons. Now, why 925 instead of pure silver? And the answer is that 925 silver is much stronger and more durable and resists scratching and wear. And that's why those type of silver items like jewelry and forks and spoons, which need better strength, are made of 925 silver. And so that little extra copper that's added, or nickel, will make it a lot stronger and a lot more durable. So that's 925 silver, which is also known as sterling silver. Sterling silver, 925, that's the same thing. So the next type of silver that I want to talk about is going to be right over here, and that's 90% silver. 90% silver is what the US silver coins from 1964 and earlier were made of. And 90% silver is, just like you would guess, 90% silver. Now, why did they make the coins out of 90% silver? Once again, just like the forks and the spoons and the jewelry, 90% silver is much stronger than pure silver. Pure silver is very soft, it scratches very easily, and in a circulating coin, pure silver will wear down much faster. So they made the coins out of 90% silver, and it lasts a lot longer that way. And so that's 90% silver, also known as coin silver. So now the next type of silver that we can talk about, though I don't have on display here in the showroom, and that's 80% silver. 80% silver is found in the Canadian coins from 1960s and earlier. They were using 80% silver. And once again, it's more durable, and that is basically the point of it. And then as we go a little further, there's some additional types of silver I'll mention, and you have 40% silver. Now, 40% silver is found, for example, in Kennedy 1965 through 1970 Kennedy half dollars, and they're made of 40% silver. Now, they're not very popular, and in fact, they don't sell much. We don't sell many of them, mostly just because people find the math of it is difficult. Also, when the purity is so low, it takes a lot more to refine it, so the value of it often is seen as less. But that is 40% silver, and it does exist. And then the last thing we'll talk about is 35% silver. 35% silver, for example, can be found in war nickels, which were produced during World War II. And this was because there was a shortage of copper, and so in turn, they were making the nickels using 35% silver. And so another item that it's not very popular, and that it's harder to do the math of it. It's harder to tell which war nickels are war nickels versus not. You kind of have to know the years and be able to recognize it. So the 40% silver and the 35% war nickels is really not something that I recommend for beginner stackers. Maybe as a coin collector, you might collect some of those, and you might stack them, but it's not very popular. Although the advantage to them is that you can get them very inexpensively relative to the silver content in them. So those were the different grades of silver. Now, the next thing is how to buy silver. Now, you can buy silver a number of different ways. One of them is that you can buy your silver locally. Like, you can walk into our beautiful showroom here in Ware, New Hampshire, and you can see our array of product displays and the prices, and you can pick the items you want, and you can pay cash for them, and that's one way. And then another way to buy besides local in our store is you can buy online. And so you can buy online from top dealers like SD Bullion, JM Bullion, Money Metals. Those are some really good dealers that we like. They sell the products we make, so we really like them. And they do a great job, and they're highly trusted. And you can pay with a check or a bank wire, and then they ship you the silver in the mail. And so that's another good way to buy silver if you're not in the geographical area to shop local. I personally think buying local is the best if you have access to a really good local dealer. Next way you can buy your silver is you can buy private party, meaning you can buy your silver directly from a guy who's not a dealer or a store, but just someone who has silver and he wants to sell some. And this can be a good way in that you'll usually get a better price when you're buying from a private party seller as opposed to from a dealer. Now, there's ups and downs with buying your silver this way. The downside is that if you don't know how to identify your silver and confirm that your silver is real, it's possible to get screwed this way. So when you're buying private party, it's good to know what you're doing, have some testing equipment, or to have someone with you who knows what they're doing to just help guide you and make sure you're not getting screwed. The last one I'll mention is from sites like eBay. eBay is another place where some people buy silver. Now, I'm sorry eBay, but I like eBay for a lot of things, but when it comes to buying silver, I'm not as excited about eBay because of the fact that a lot of people get scammed. Now, the good thing about eBay is if you buy something and you discover that it's bad, they have a really good return policy where you can get your money back, and they organize it with the seller and they protect the customer in that respect. So that's really good, but that only works if you know the silver that you got is bad. A lot of people get their silver and they don't know there's anything wrong with it until years later when they go to sell. And then when they go to sell, they find out that the American Silver Eagles that they bought dirt cheap on eBay aren't real. I can't even tell you how many times a guy has walked into our showroom and said how he just got an amazing deal and he bought 50 Silver Eagles on eBay for $15 each. And then we tested them and it turns out that they're fake, that they're plated silver, not silver underneath, and of course not real Silver Eagles. So, that's the problem with it, is there's a lot of fake sellers out there on eBay. So if you don't have the ability to rapidly test the items when you receive them, then it could be dangerous. And if years down the road you go to sell and find out all the silver you thought was real wasn't real, that's a problem. And also, if you see a seller online selling silver for much below the spot price, you should be very concerned. So I would avoid buying silver from eBay, and I would aim for buying, especially if you're new, I would try to buy from your local dealer or a trusted online seller. And those are some ways to buy your silver. This pretty much concludes this intro to silver buying video. I hope that this has helped you in some way. If you like this video, please feel free to click like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really appreciate that. If you think this video might help one of your friends or family members, please feel free to send it to them. And if you want to buy our products, you can click the link below and you can buy it online, or you can come to our store in Ware, New Hampshire. You can buy in person. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a wonderful day and reminding you to keep on stacking.